everybody, I'm Emma and this is Emma Rosen Books. I would like to tell you about my 5 favourite breastfeeding books. As you may or may not know, depending on whether you're new to this channel, I've written a book about my experience of breastfeeding, interwoven with the social story of breastfeeding, which is due out in October. It's getting really exciting and scary at the moment. And I have been working flat out on it all of this month, but I'm out of the tunnel at the moment, so that's really cool. It's not available for pre-order or anything like that yet, but it will be. Anyway, I thought that it would be, since my head is in that space at the moment, that it would be a really cool opportunity to share my favourite books about breastfeeding. I made a video last week about why I've written a book about breastfeeding, so if you're interested I'll stick a card up there and you can find out a little bit more. Okay, without further ado. Number 1, this is like a how-to ages and stages kind of book. The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding is fantastic for just every question you could ever have about how to and what if this is happening and all of that kind of stuff. It's very thorough, really readable, excellent if that's the kind of thing that you're looking for. The next book, and I've talked about this a gazillion times, I love this book, The Politics of Breastfeeding. If you're looking for basically to be really angry about things like the marketing of formula, and the way that women are viewed and treated, particularly through motherhood and breastfeeding, and looking at kind of the history and culture and society of all of that. This is a fantastic place to start. It's an amazingly well written book, and just blows me away. I've read this a number of times, so yeah, a truly life-changing book, and I couldn't agree more. In a similar vein, this is a very similar kind of a book, but it does cover other topics. There's a lot of overlap, but there's also stuff that's different in here. This book by Amy Brown, Breastfeeding Uncovered, as I say, similar idea, but also fantastic, also very readable. Amy Brown is just a brilliant writer, and gets involved in some amazing projects to do with breastfeeding. So yeah, that's another really good one if you're interested in that kind of political stuff. Next up, I don't have a copy of it on me, so I'm going to put a picture somewhere, this side. And this is a photography style book called We Do It in Public. It's really lovely. It was set up by a group, like an alliance of mums and midwives and people working together, who I believe funded the book through a Kickstarter. I might be wrong, but I think that's right. And essentially it's just pictures of mums breastfeeding in everyday life, just to raise awareness of just the normality and the everyday experience of it. It's a beautifully photographed book, just a nice one to flick through. Yeah, really nice. I'll leave a link to the group who made the book in the down bar. Finally is a book that isn't totally about breastfeeding, but it has links. And I'm not going to actually show it on camera, I'll explain why in a moment, but this is The Spine. It's called Bare Reality. This book is basically 100 different women, and it has a topless picture of each woman, just torso, can't see their head, can't see anything else. And it then has a piece of writing next to it about their story, their relationship with their bodies. So it does talk about breastfeeding, it also talks about not breastfeeding, and it talks about sexuality, and it talks about kind of gender politics, and it is just 100 personal stories, so you can look at all these issues from multiple points of view. It's beautiful because it's written by the actual people, and it's so interesting to actually think about people's relationships with their bodies and how that has knock-on effects throughout their lives. There were stories in here that really made me cry. Obviously there's examples of women who've had breast cancer, and some of those are very uplifting and some of those are really emotional. The story that finished the book, the last lady who took part, it totally blew me away. There are some incredible stories in this book. It's very, very much an 18+ book. But if you are interested in that kind of thing, like feminism or personal stories or body image or like breastfeeding, breast cancer, breast health, it's gorgeous. A coffee table book if you were brave enough to put it out on your coffee table. And then I want to put a TBR because I wanted to be able to include this but I haven't finished reading it yet. This lady, Holly McNish, is the most incredible poet. Her poem about breastfeeding called Embarrassed is insane, and go and look up the YouTube video of it if you've never seen it. It just says everything that I feel. I find it a very emotive poem. It's gorgeous. This is the book that she wrote. The dog's moving. This is the book that she wrote which has Embarrassed in it, and it's a mixture of stories about parenthood along with poems that she's written. I've seen Holly McNish live twice, and she's brilliant. I love her. So I want to read this book and I'm planning to review it when I have. So you get like a bonus book because I think this is going to be a really good breastfeeding book. But her poem is definitely up there, just that one poem, and that is in that book. So you know what? That's enough to say that that must be one of the best breastfeeding books. That's like number 6. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little video. Please like if you did. Please subscribe for more bookish/writerly content, and comment if you'd like to, and I'll see you all for my next one. Bye!